What I like about the Philippines' chances here this year is that even though these are two of the top players in the world, they're a bit under the radar because we've got these two England teams that have just raised the bar, and everybody's looking at them. And I've even heard talk of, could we have an All England final? In the past, Corteza and Orculio, especially like last year, when the event was in the Philippines, massive pressure because the sport is so popular there. They can just feel the weight of 100 million Filipinos bearing down on their shoulders. But here, a little bit under the radar, and I think that serves them well. They can relax a little bit.
Well, they're giving you a taste. Just an appetizer before the main course. Solid, as you'd expect in the opening rack. A good break from Dennis Orculio. Liban Corteza secures the 9, and with it, the opening rack.
Send out a very strong message to Team Singapore. Hopefully they find those chairs comfortable over there. It is winner breaks, which means Team Philippines back up to break. There you see Aloysius Yap on the left. The other shot, that was Team Singapore. There you are. Yap on the left and Chan Keng Kwang on the right. Yap only 17 years old.
Yeah, and you will have noticed sitting in behind the Philippine pair as well, two very interested spectators. Team Hungary, front and center on a scouting mission.
Something tells me right now they're more interested on getting on their Facebook page and telling everybody about what they just did. Beating Russia to move into the quarterfinals. 5 balls down.
Yeah, an illegal break. We never saw one illegal break in the last match. We've seen so many during the event. To keep it legal, you've got to get 3 balls past the head string. Every ball pocketed counts as a ball having passed the head string.
Very nice safety.
And also the 35-second shot clock being used here at York Hall. Each team allowed 1 extension of 35 seconds per rack. So the way these guys get on with it, unlikely you'll be seeing too many extensions used, if any. Well, there you go. All I had to do was bring it up.
Well, unless that yellow 1 can be seen between the 2 and the 8, I don't know. That's very tight.
And especially from that distance, Ted.
You know, that was such a clever safety. If you look at the table, all the angles are kind of blocked off to reach that 1 ball.
Yeah, not a bad effort. He widened the angle by playing bottom into that side cushion. That swung the cue ball a little wider than would normally happen. That was a good escape.
Of course, in a situation like that, it's just about the escape. They cannot really play position. So you have to say advantage Philippines at the moment.
Yeah, it was never going to be a formality position from the 1 to the 2 there. Good shot, though, on the 1 from Liban Corteza, but the shorter Dennis Orculio is going to be kicking at this one. Got the wrong, he had the spider there. Now he's just got the X bridge, or the X rest as it's known in the UK.
Extension.
leaves the bridge on the table. You're not allowed to leave your cue on the table. You cannot take your hand off the cue, but you can take your hand off the rest.
You can see this too, but I don't think it passes the 8 into the corner pocket. Now, what do you think, Ted? Bottom half a pocket?
Now,
Not worth going at, that's for sure.
if there's a space, it's microscopic. This would have to be 100% perfect.
Oh, I'm very surprised the way he played that. Very surprised, even though it worked out for him. It looked like he could hit that full in the face, stop the cue ball right there, and he would have buried him behind those colors, banked the 2 straight up table. I mean, this is still good, but this was a much tougher effort than the one I suggested, and I think the one I suggested would have been a much tougher escape.
Corteza now with the jump cue. Short stick. Go flying right over those 2 balls in front of the white cue. Nearly made that. And this, no, it was on for a second. That rolled away. It will not be on.
What an effort from the Philippines there, though. Close to a jump bank. And he's looking at this off the side cushion. He'll have to be very careful if he kicks this off the side. Got to watch the cue ball. Make sure it doesn't go into that corner.
How many times have we seen that, Jim?
Full contact. Beautifully played. Beautifully played.
That is a highlight reel shot with position.
Yeah, that cue ball tracking over towards that corner, though, Ted. That was the danger. But what an effort.
And you have to hit that at perfect speed, don't you, Jim? I mean, he had to absolutely get the speed down pat.
Still not straightforward, this rack.
After a safety battle with the Filipinos, and if you take the advantage, you better win the rack. Short races here, race to 7.
You can still see this, though.
It's a long one.
He's left his younger partner a long, very missable 6.
And now it's very makeable for Team Philippines. And as I said, you get an advantage. You win a safety battle against these 2 fellas from the Philippines, and you don't convert. That does not bode well. How many chances you think you can give Team Philippines before they bury you?
Well, I think also with the 2 young Singapore players quite likely making appearances on the Asian Tour, they'll be well aware of the task at hand with these 2 giants of Asian pool. And so you have to take into account the intimidation factor as well, Ted.
Yeah, just their mere presence is intimidating.
And the task becomes just a little more daunting. 2-0. Now to the Philippines in the race to 7. Another rack win goes as expected. But Singapore did have their chance.
Yes, they did. And they had the opening after winning the safety exchange. Nice shooting there, but it was the poor position on the subsequent shot. Yap on the left there. Couldn't make the long hit on the 6. Philippines runs out. They lead it 2-0.
Aloysius Yap, 17 years of age. Future of
the Philippines
pool in Singapore,
by 2
representing his country at such a tender age. He lists Wu Tsai-Ting as his idol. Won the world title at 16 years of age. And he was a left-hander as well.
Yeah. Won the world 9-ball at 16, and a few months later went and won the world 8-ball. I'll tell you how good he was when he entered that world 8-ball. And they're the best players in the world. He had never actually played the 8-ball discipline. His first time, he just figured it out. That's how good a player he was and is. So a good player to emulate.
Another break, another opportunity for
good two-way shot there.
Yeah, still could have made this one because he had position to the 2, but that was a chance. A chance thrown away. And they are bringing Singapore out of their chairs. A little bit of a wry smile from Livan Corteza. What a competitor he is.
And Yap now with the jump cue. That looks like a possible bank shot here for Urculio, who is generally more than willing to take these on.
The Philippines, as expected, took out Croatia in the opening round, 7-4. Kind of just a workman-like performance. And Singapore en route to this last 16 clash defeated the number 11 seeded Poland. So riding a bit of a wave entering this tie with the Philippines. But they're going to have to produce their best. And the Philippines are bringing them, if nothing else, to the table. Another missed opportunity, this time from Dennis Urculio.
Well, yeah, every rack gets bigger and bigger for this pair. That intimidation factor has got to be massive.
Running for cover. He's found it. Two options here. Side cushion for the kick escape, or, as we've already seen from Livan Corteza, he may go back for the short cue. Just personal preference, however he feels best affords a chance to get this one safe or get lucky.
Got a few seconds left. Oh no.
Ball shot. Ball in.
Big chance now for Team Singapore.
Also a chance, Jim, to get settled. Get one on the board and relax a little bit. But as we've seen so often in the World Cup of Pool, you must convert. You cannot just hand them the rack just because they have ball in hand. So much pressure here, all these TV cameras and the bright lights, and they know that people are watching live, and it's really affected some players here this week.
Nice shot. He had to draw that to the side cushion, and a lot of right-hand side spin applied into that measled cue ball. Still got to travel a bit from the 6 to the 7 too. But they're starting to release those cues with ease, Ted. And you give a couple young players a lifeline, and if they start to enjoy themselves, they can make life difficult for you, even when you're favored as much as the Philippines are in this match.
I see what you mean, Jim. The arms are definitely loosening up here, and this should settle them into the match. They're in it for the long haul. Now, this 9 bring them one behind. 2-1 now in favor of the Philippines. Singapore will be breaking in the match. Winner breaks, and it continues after the break.
.888.com, proud sponsors of the World Cup of Pool.
Take a journey with the Sky 3D Weekend. On Friday, uncover the genius. Step inside the mind of Leonardo da Vinci. On Sunday, it's Clash of the Titans in an early season Manchester derby. Get close to the action to watch the sparks fly. Then enjoy the adventure of a stunning natural world. The premiere of Panda's 3D Back to the Wild. Followed by incredible family favorite meerkats. The Sky 3D Weekend. Immerse yourself.
For money back if there's a red card, talk to Victor.
Welcome to the East Coast train service.
When I'm reading a book, I'm oblivious to everything else around. Sometimes I imagine myself as the character in the book. The story describes what the characters look like, talk like, feel like. I bring what I read to life, and everyone will bring the stories that they read to life in their own sort of way. Sometimes I just giggle to myself, and people are like, "What are you laughing at?" I'm like, "Just a book."
The all-new Citroën C4 Picasso. Discover the world inside.
Citroën, créative technologie.
your home for sport. 888.com, proud sponsors of the World Cup of Pool.
Singapore just secures their first rack. They will break. We've already seen Hungary take out Russia 7-4 for a place in the quarterfinals. Still to come, Chinese Taipei versus Greece. And then tonight, the plate is set. USA versus Japan, Holland versus India. All the glitz and glamour the Indians bring to the table. And then it's the A-team from England versus Fabio Petroni's led Italy. All to play for here on day 4. And the quarterfinal lineup will be set at the end of it.
Well, the other night, Team India, Amar Kang, Raj Hundal showed up in a silver Rolls Royce. And I believe tonight they're going to be showing up in a black Maserati. Could be. Stay tuned. It's going to be good.
Ted, we'll be here, and we're hoping you'll be here to join us.
So the 1 ball is down. It is a legal break. You can see a shot on the 2. That 2 is glued up against the rail, frozen against the rail. You heard Michaela Tab inform Team Singapore.
The reason for that, because a ball has to contact a cushion after contacting the object ball. And in this case, the cushion the 2 ball is frozen to doesn't count, at least for the 2.
Yeah, so that would stop them from just rolling the ball up, the cue ball up there, to try to play safety. So after the hit, you must contact the rail.
Nicely played, nicely judged. Philippines again, going to be kicking. You've got to be impressed with Singapore. They really have kept this dynamic Philippine team at bay.
Well, you've got to play your game. I know that's a cliche in sports. You know, people always say, I'm going to play my game. And that's what you have to do. You have to ignore who is in the other chair. You just have to go out and do what's right, what you know is right for 9 ball. Play safety when you have to. Go defense. Defense can be offense. You know, when you get a break and run.
Well, 2 balls and the 9 tracking.
We'll have to take a look at that again.
Rarely do the Filipinos kick without purpose.
I mean, you could actually say, Jim, that he intended that.
The 9 into the side, barely missed.
I know, but I was talking about the 2 into the 3. You're thinking that he actually tried to pot the 9? That's incredible.
I think he played it at a speed to make the 9 in the side and caught the point of the side pocket. Almost made it, but got 2 balls instead. And all of a sudden, what looked to be a containing shot by Singapore, Dennis and Levan have completely turned the tables on them.
Now, these 2 have seen it all. They've done it all. And we are going to have to look at that shot again. That is really fascinating. To wonder, and we'll have to ask them afterwards, what the actual intention of that shot was.
Nobody in the game kicks better than the Filipinos. Players like Levan Corteza and Dennis Orculio, their skills honed watching the very best in Efren Reyes and Bustamante for days and hours on end. And a 3-1 lead. But definitely worth another look, that kick from Dennis.
Here it is. 2. Oh. Just an incredible shot. I mean, you only have 35 seconds to calculate all that stuff in your mind, but these guys see that right away. You could see that the 9 could possibly go into the side, the 2 could go into the side pocket. Incredible.
The 3 off the 9 into the corner. I mean, there were so many things going on there.
Rack
And the
5,
speed that Dennis
the
played
Philippines
that
to break,
shot
leading by
told
3
me
racks
that was
to 1.
full throttle attack.
Or that'll make Singapore, Jim, think twice and 3 times about just how they play their safeties.
Without doubt, Ted. Very good
Illegal
point.
break, control passes.
And our first illegal break of the day, of the match.
No, they won't be going to jail because it's illegal, but they will be sitting down. Two balls past the head string. They needed another ball past the head string or 1 potted. So 3 balls past the head string makes it a legal break. A ball potted counts as 1 past the head string. So control of the table, and you hear that phrase, control passes over to Singapore. If they don't have a shot, they can bring the Philippines back in to shoot.
We're quite happy to duke it out and play these chess matches with Team Philippines.
Through that alleyway there.
I've got a feeling that they're going to be taking an extension yet again. They're using one every rack.
Yeah, I heard him say that it doesn't go through. So they'll be taking another route.
He's looking over at the far cushion here too. I mean, the way they're thinking is how can they turn this into an aggressive option? You don't want to just contain Singapore. You can see he was trying to bump that one. He tried to hit the bottom side of it as we look. He knew he wasn't going to be leaving a shot, but he tried to get that one even behind the 4. Might look like you could just hit that one dead on and glue that cue ball behind the 4, but the problem is the 1 will be coming back towards the 5, so you got to put some distance between them. Yeah, he's used the 5. No, that's a good shot. Very good shot. Kept that cue ball behind the 4, Ted, but he used the 5 to get the 1 down table. Clever.
Kid's got a good game. And comes in here, is confident. Doesn't seem intimidated. I'm sure he knows the Filipinos have a lot more experience at all these different aspects of 9-ball. But look at this. Now, tables are turned a bit. That clever safety by Yap has opened up the table for Singapore. The idea, good defense leads to offense.
Tricky though, even though he's got a shot at the 1, it looks like the cue ball
Extension.
may go into the 6. And you see the 2 on the left-hand side of the table, on the left-hand rail, appears to be available down the bottom corner past the 8. Play this one into the bottom left corner. Still got to be careful.
Out. Should be okay. It's not going to be easy.
I got to tell you, Ted, I'd rather the opponent shooting this than me.
has it for the youngster, 17 years old. And he's going to leave it open.
That shot looked tough, even from the commentary box.
Dennis is looking at that, not sure, we're not sure from this angle, can he see the proper hotness? But certainly his body language is saying that he can, or maybe not. No.
Slow Masse. Too much? Oh,
Isn't that something?
just hangs in.
Precision.
I can't even begin to tell you how tough that shot is. When you're spinning the cue ball like that. Levan Corteza.
Almost like he wasn't thinking there. That is, did you say turning point? Ooh, that was, you're not going to see that too often from Levan.
I was just about to sing the praises of Dennis Orculio because I thought we'd see him play a few more shots. Now this is an opportunity for Singapore to plant some seeds of negativity into the Filipino minds. A simple shot like that, you just don't see that happen from a player like Levan Corteza.
Bit of a mental gap there now for Singapore to walk through because, as you said, planting the seeds of intimidation and doubt. It's really, I mean, 4-1 and 3-2. What a difference in a race to 7.
Yeah, 4-1 in breaking as opposed to 3-2 and in your chair. And that really could be a turning point in this match.
Singapore just has to seize the moment. I'll tell you, it'd be nice to also go back and look at that little Masse shot of Orculio. That was really well played.
They've been given their chances, very comfortable at the table. And 3-2. When it looked so much like it was going to be a 4-1 Philippine lead. Team Singapore on the heels of the heavily favored Filipinos.
Funny old game. It can turn on just one simple mistake. And Levan got very careless, and that was it right there. Boy, that was so elementary.
Yeah, the only thing you can think of is that it was that easy. He just didn't give it a look. He just got down and pulled the trigger without giving the shot the due attention that it required.
Big mental lapse, and something tells me that, you know, they wouldn't do that if they were facing England A or B. I think
By 3 racks to 2.
I think you're right. He did not take it seriously because perhaps they're thinking, well, this is the walk in the park that it was supposed to be because we're playing Singapore. Well, they know now they are in for a real fight to get to this finish line.
Yeah, but this will bring them out of their chair in a hurry. A scratch, and that cue ball wasn't kicked in. Chan drew it straight into the side pocket, and despair.
We often talk about pool being such a mental sport. Jim, what would you say the percentage at this level, the pro level, of how much of this game is mental?
I think it's all played from the shoulders up. There's so many players that have the ability you know, and being able to go out there. And the one thing I've always liked about almost all the top Asian players is you'll see them after a match. They've got such a good approach. Win or lose, you almost can't tell the difference. And they never put pressure on themselves. And I know you've seen enough pool in the Philippines, Ted. A lot of these guys, they just understand the makeup of the game. Someday, it's just not in the stars. It's just not on.
That's right.
And they accept that.
You also see players, and this happens not just in pool, but in a lot of sports, they play to the perceived ability of their opponent. And I think we saw that there with Lee Van. That was, I've never seen, that was a really glaring error by him. But they will atone a bit for it right here.
Key to success is not carrying baggage. Down goes the 9, 4-2. The 2-rack lead reestablished here at York Hall. Philippines back in control. And we'll see if they can continue on. Join us after the commercial.
888.com, proud sponsors of the World Cup of Pool.
It's a symbol of wealth and privilege.
Welcome to Harrow.
Founded on centuries of tradition.
It's its breed-daughter experience.
But what's it like to go there?
The best of luck for what the future holds here at Harrow.
Felt like I was actually part of history. I would sum it up in one word, but I wouldn't be allowed to say that word because it'd be inappropriate. You're just like, whoa.
This could be your only chance to find out. Harrow, a very British school. Wednesday at 8, Sky 1 HD, or catch up now on demand.
I think when I was a little bit younger, you were just looking for dates and to meet different girls. Now I'm looking for something a little bit more serious. eHarmony is a lot more detailed than others, but I think because of that, you can find much better matches. A lot of the other websites just seem a little bit blasé. The compatibility has been really good, and we've never been short of conversation. I would say definitely have a look at eHarmony. They seem to care the most about getting you a good match.
Join eharmony.co.uk today and review your matches for free.
At Esso, we've developed a specially formulated fuel. A fuel designed to give you courgettes.
Esso, fill up your club card when you fill up your tank.
This is your prize for sacrificing weekend after weekend to build up the business. Your trophy for juggling conference calls and school plays. This is your reward, and deservedly so. PrimeLocation.com. Find the home you deserve.
Back in 1893, inventor Henry Perky put his heart into keeping healthy. And one day stumbled upon something that would end up looking after it. 100% whole grain wheat. No added sugar, no added salt, low in saturated fat. Today, that same breakfast helps keep your heart healthy. Shredded wheat.
Download the app or go to William Hill on your mobile. William Hill, the home of betting.
888.com, proud sponsors of the World Cup of Pool.
It's a 4-2 lead to Team Philippines over Singapore. The second of our 3 matches this afternoon. We're going to see Chinese Taipei lock horns with Greece. And then this evening, the American side up against Japan. Holland versus India. And then England versus Italy. A mouth-watering prospect of pool coming your way here on day 4. And the Philippines, 4-2 in front, could have been so different. But Ted, my colleague sat beside me with the best seat in the house. Don't be fooled by that American accent. He's lived in the Philippines for the last 20 years, and you have been front and center to many matches between Dennis and Levan Corteza.
Well, in many respects, these two, while they're two of the best in the Philippines right now and in the world, they are rivals very much on the pool table. They've gone at it in some of the biggest money matches ever seen in the last few years in the Philippines. And I'm not going to sugarcoat it and tell you that they are absolutely the best of friends. They're friends, but they're not the best of friends. I don't think it's like Peach and Melling or Boys and Appleton. It's a little bit different than that. They are rivals on the table, but having said that, in this event, I can tell you, national pride, especially in pool, is such a big thing in the Philippines. National pride takes precedent and supersedes any of their rivalries. But there can be little things creeping in there between the. I would definitely believe that.
Well, to be successful, obviously team chemistry is a key ingredient. What a shot there from Levan Corteza. Laying the foundation for his partner. You really do have to check your ego at the door, Ted. No doubt about it. But these guys have all the game to go right through the field and be the last men standing.
What other nation, Jim, do you know where 100 million people will sitting on the edge of their seats waiting for the result of your match? It doesn't happen many places as regards to the sport of pool. A lot of pressure on these two. We've even got here several television reporters from television stations in the Philippines. Two of the biggest networks in the Philippines have sent reporters here from their London offices to cover this event and report back home.
Added that they have to deal with scrutiny. All flying their country's flag.
Yeah, they have to. I have every faith that they can do it as well. You know, they've just got to bear down. That's what they do. They're two of the best in this industry, in this sport.
Not quite the desired angle. So Dennis is going to have to force this a little, and you can see them both having a look. It's just off straight and just off angle because he's got to get the cue ball the other end of the table. So you'll hear this one hit the back of the pocket. Have to put the table back into position after that one. He's given that chewing gum a workout as Dennis Orcolio, like Nick Varner, American
Dennis, yeah,
superstar we've all seen many times.
Dennis didn't always chew the gum. It was only this year I started to see him go to the gum.
Good performance. That a break and run out. 5-2. Parking Team Singapore in their chairs. A little bit more of what we would have expected. And a little banter between the two as well, but that was a great shot from Dennis on the 7.
Speaking of chemistry, Jim, just curious to get your opinion. And when you have two great players together, do you feel that somebody has to take the lead, the elder statesman, so to speak, or can you play together as one and both be equal?
No, absolutely, Ted. I think it really is vital that that the partnerships are in sync.
the Philippines
mentally
to break,
and
leading by 5
fundamentally.
racks to 2.
Having a similar pace of play, I think, helps. That's why, Tony Drago, for example, in Team Malta, I mean, as great a player as Tony is, he can't be easy to play with as a partner.
Foul shot. Ball in.
Cue ball into the side pocket, so with ball in hand, can't legislate for something like that happening. That was kicked over there.
Vital for Singapore to get this rack. They have ball in hand. It doesn't get any easier than that when you have ball in hand.
In the past, just to close out what you were saying, we've some real long shots get to the finals of this event. Vietnam one year, Thailand another year. It goes a long way to establishing that it isn't always about, two superstars joining forces and success. They really have to mesh.
We saw in our earlier match, Hungary is a very good example of that this year.
Yeah, and they're probably the team that is raising everybody's eyebrows because they're coming together at just the right time.
People say about the Hungarians, they're enjoyable to watch. And that just means they're relaxed. They play fluid. They play fast. They're fun. They're going to be tough to beat. They continue that way.
Well, in the European Tour, the emergence of all these countries and all these players that, not necessarily household names in the world of pool, but they can play. He just traveled a bit too far because I don't think he can flick this down. He wanted to be able to play this onto the 6. Unless he spins it, and that looks like the game plan. Spin that cue ball. Oh, he didn't spin it enough. What a let-off.
And Orculio jumps off his chair. It's like a shark after blood at this point. Hungry shark. Victory is now within sight for Team.
He may try and get them both here. Play on the 5 anyway. No, he's leaving the 4 there. He could have played that. He didn't want that cue ball ducking behind the 5, did he? Just up to the middle of the table for the 7. But that was a careless mistake from Singapore. And if they're to have any chance of upsetting the Philippines, opportunities like that can't go begging. Angle too to come down for the 9.
This 9 ball will be our spot on the hill, as we say in pool, which means 1 away from victory and a spot in the quarterfinals of the World Cup of Pool.
And 6-2 it is. Singapore now. 5 remaining. They've got to win them all. Tall order. There's where it went wrong. Didn't quite spin the cue ball as desired. And that really wasn't as difficult what he made it look. He just hit it a little too hard. Shouldn't really have had to spin it, in fairness, Ted, as his partner just overran position. But a little banter again between Dennis and Livan Corteza. These guys start working together, I mean, they've got all the ability that anybody could want. On paper, we know how highly seeded they are in terms of the world rankings.
And also,
Track 9, the Philippines to break, leading by 6 racks to 2.
This match being played during the working hours. That's why you don't see quite as many of the local Filipino community here as we had the other night. But, of course, everything as we move along, they get in the quarterfinals. And if they play a primetime match, you will see this place packed out with Filipinos waving the flags. That'll be something that'll bring these two together, that's for sure.
Park the cue ball in the middle.
National pride, Jim.
Nothing down. Dry break. Didn't go with the cut break that time. So with the dry break, half a chance for Singapore here. At least to try and make some inroads into that 4-rack deficit.
But what they can't do is do most of the work and then hand the table over to the Philippines. They have to play flawless from here on in. Very tall order.
Everything's open. Even that blue 2 on the right-hand side, that'll go down to the corner pocket. It's just sticking out enough. The 3 over the side. In very close proximity to the 4 ball. There's the 2. Anywhere in the middle of the table will do for position. Doesn't even need angle really where the 3 is. Just off straight will work. I didn't really want to leave his partner queuing over the 6 though.
One ball at a time. That's all you can think about at this point. Any mistake will cost them the match.
This is another case. See, he's got a left-handed partner. And he's played that almost as though a right-hander was shooting after him.
Great point.
He's got a bridge over the colors and stretch. A right-hander would be able to reach this easily. As a matter of fact, he's had to use even the rake, bring the rake out. Chan wasn't thinking there. Oh, what a great recovery.
Except the leave. But it should be okay.
Yet now he wishes he was left-handed. He is.
He is. He switched hands. Now he's going for the rake. He's getting a little, that slope's getting a little bit slippery here, Jim.
Well, they keep pulling out the shots though, Ted. Very worst, the scoreline is going to improve in their favor. Nine down. 6-3 confirmed here at York Hall. It's an uphill battle for Team Singapore, but they're on the march. Join us after the break to see if they can continue on.
.com, proud sponsors of the World Cup of Pool.
The sun is going down. It's about to get very noisy around the streets of Singapore.
This is probably the trickiest Grand Prix.
We're racing in the evening and it's just absolutely roasting.
Away we go!
A different type of race.
It's a challenging track.
Bumpy, no place for mistakes. I'm looking forward to it.
The Singapore Grand Prix weekend in association with Rolex and Shell. Live only on Sky Sports F1.
The team you backed is 2-1 up in the dying moments of an epic clash. And now the pressure's really on. But with Betfair, you can cash out your bet during the match. So what say you now? Do you? Don't you? Do you? Don't you? With Betfair, you decide. Join today and get a free matched bet up to £50.
I used it to search for the best match for a credit card. Mama. 1 minute. Can I talk to the man? The amount that I've learned from the site about credit and how to use a credit score is phenomenal, really. And, you know, it's saving me money because I've been able to get a reasonable credit card. I felt quite proud of myself, you know, and maybe I've grown up at last.
Experian Credit Expert helped Alison use her credit score to save money. Start your 30-day trial at creditexpert.co.uk.
No! His t-shirt.
Come on.
Are on the grid.
You got your lunchbox?
Because we insure millions of school runs worldwide, we know just how the morning can feel. Allianz. Insurance from A to Z.
Gary's cat is missing.
Excuse me, I'm sorry to bother you. Have you seen my cat?
But don't worry, he seems to have it covered. Like with a new Peugeot 208, you don't need to worry about car insurance. It's covered for 3 years. So is all this. Only with the Just Add Fuel finance package. Oh look, there's Gary's cat. Drive away happy with Just Add Fuel, only from Peugeot.
Watch me beat David Hay, live on Sky Sports Box Office.
888.com, proud sponsors of the World Cup of Pool.
It's Team Singapore on the comeback trail here this afternoon on day 4 up against the Philippines. Still to come, Chinese Taipei versus Greece. And then tonight, the Americans face off against Japan. Holland and India tee it up. And then it's the A-team from England up against Fabio Petroni, Bruno Muratori from Team Italy. It's going to be a great day of pool. And following day 4, we'll know who our last 8 teams standing will be.
Lucius Yap, 17 years old. See if he can keep this mini run going for Singapore. They were down 6-2. A dry break in the last break for Team Philippines led to them with a very handy break and run, or run out, rather. And that's what you need to do. And a ball down, 2 balls down. Their shot on the 2.
Well, if there is, it doesn't appear so on our overhead monitor, but I'll tell you one thing, Ted, when you get a ball in such close proximity to a pocket, the push out is very difficult to negotiate. Like, where on earth do you push? You don't want to make it too difficult. The push out is one of those shots that, a bit of a gambling shot, really, where you're pushing to an area where you're betting they don't have the answer, and And you know exactly what to do. How do you like doing a push out against a team like the Philippines that have all that experience? He's trying to lock the 5 and the 3 up. No, didn't quite get there. But this is a pretty tough safety. It wouldn't surprise me if Dennis and Levan Cortez just go back to their chairs, because I don't think you can cut this in. Tried to tie those up. It was a good game plan. Levan Cortez must see a safety here. Taking lots of time. Have a little discussion. Maybe just side cushion. But they're going to play this. Risky. Side cushion. He's got a wall of colors there. He decided to use them, but slow spinning that cue ball over that distance, never easy.
Singapore living on the edge. Now in a safety battle with two of the best in the business.
Extension.
One mistake, and the curtain will come down on their campaign here at the 2013 World Cup of Pool.
Gap there between the 6 and the 9. Well, there's an outside chance slicing this 2 into the corner pocket. Thin cut, but it does come with some positional values. The safety option is obviously there. Well, he's gone for it, and he's got it. And he's on the 3.
Opened up things perfectly. So there you see, very difficult to win a safety exchange with these two.
Yeah, it could be the beginning of the end for Singapore's run here in London. But all this experience with the young players will put them in good stead for their futures. You just can't see the Philippines failing here. Why do I say that? And the 6 doesn't look like it passes the 9, so there's a little work to be done in this rack. And he's left the 5 dead in. 6 does not pass the 9. It certainly doesn't pass the 7. So Dennis may have no choice here but to try and leave his partner a 6-7 combination.
That's not easy either.
That's exactly what he's done. Unless, well, he's kind of left it right in the middle, hasn't he?
He might have been looking at the 6 in the side pocket there. Ball didn't come down enough.
Yeah, this isn't over just yet.
Bank shot.
Possibility. He can still try and cut this in the side, but I think he just overran what he intended. I think he was trying to leave his partner the 6-7, because to try and play this into the side, you'd have had to have been way too precise with that much distance.
Looks like a bank.
A bank for the win.
There it is.
It is. Dennis may be taking this around the cushions and back for the 9.
This 9, the Philippines, will move into the quarterfinals of the World Cup of Pool.
And they have a 7-3 win over a very game Team Singapore. The Philippines through to the last 8, where they will meet Hungary. Plenty more World Cup action coming your way. Join us.